Welcome. I am Yvonne Mahmoud, and this is the Somaliland National Television, and you're watching the English News Program. Here are the stories making local headlines. The President of Somaliland welcomed the Ambassador of Somaliland and Somalia to his office. Somaliland Minister of Commerce and International Investment opened a discussion meeting. Ministers attend a dinner event held for the Ambassador of Somaliland and Somalia to Turkey. Somaliland President Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud, accompanied by high-ranking officials, welcomed the Turkey Ambassador of Somaliland and Somalia to his office.
President of Somaliland Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud Silanyo, accompanied by the Vice President of Somaliland Abdurrahman Abdullahi Sayle'i, Somaliland Minister of Foreign Affairs Mohamed Bihi Yunis, and the President's Speaker welcomed the delegation led by the Ambassador of Somaliland and Somalia to Turkey. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss the strong relationship between the two nations, Somaliland and Turkey. Somaliland Minister of Foreign Affairs, speaking on the event, stated that they discussed with the delegation about the cooperation between the two states and urged Turkish government to help with the development progress in Somaliland, especially educational improvements, investments, and Somaliland health sectors. The delegation and the government of Somaliland also discussed about the opening of Somaliland and Somalia talks. Talks between the government of Somaliland and the neighboring country Somalia is expected to reopen soon. Somaliland government is expected to open an office in Ankara. On the other hand, the delegation met with the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, Education, and Higher Studies.
Somaliland Minister of Commerce and International Investment, Dr. Mohamed Abdullahi Omar, held a discussion about a new company law.
Somaliland Minister of Commerce and International Investment, Dr. Mohamed Abdullahi Omar, accompanied by the Somaliland Minister of Planning, Saad Ali Shiwe, opened a discussion meeting about the new law the government of Somaliland recently approved, the company law. This discussion will be ongoing for one day. This law is the same as the International Investment Law and the registration of international companies. Somaliland Minister of Commerce Mohamed Abdullahi Omar, speaking on the opening event, stated that the reason behind this meeting is to hold a national discussion and debate on what is best for the nation and international investors. The minister also stated that this company law was approved after the advice of the parliament, businessmen, non-governmental international organizations like World Bank, and the view of the society. Somaliland Minister of National Planning, Dr. Saad Ali Shiwe, gave a brief remark on the subject matter and stated the word development comes when people have cooperative objectives and united goals, and stated that this is an example of it.
Members of Somaliland representatives attended a dinner event held for the Ambassador of Somaliland and Somalia to Turkey by the government of Somaliland.
Members of Somaliland's representatives attend dinner event held for the Ambassador of Somaliland and Somalia to Turkey by the government of Somaliland. The ministers included Somaliland Minister of Foreign Affairs, Education, Interior, Presidential Palace, and top-ranking officials. The opening of this event, Somaliland Minister of Foreign Affairs Mohamed Bihi Yunis opened the event with a speech where he massively welcomed the Ambassador of Somaliland and Somalia to Turkey, Kari Toren. The minister also stated that the relationship between Somaliland government and Turkey started a long time ago, and still both nations are proud to look forward to strengthening it. The ambassador is going to stay at Somaliland for 2 days for work-related business. The government announced that the ambassador will meet Somaliland top-ranking officials. The Minister of Foreign Affairs stated,
as the ambassador was saying now, Somaliland is peaceful, stable, and it's a very safe country, and we want to have very long relationship with the people of Turkey, and we are looking forward to be having a lot of projects that we can work together.
The ambassador stated,
I would like to say something. We are here, we are not new here.
A massive meeting based on improving the educational standards of Somaliland disability schools was held at the capital of Somaliland, Hargeisa.
A workshop for improving the educational standard of Somaliland disability schools was held at the capital city of Somaliland, Hargeisa. The Director General of Somaliland Ministry of Education and Higher Studies, parents of disabled students and teachers of those schools from Somaliland regions also attended at the event. The aim of this workshop was to improve and sustain the educational standard of the disabled students' schools throughout the nation. The workshop was concluded today at the capital city of Somaliland, Hargeisa. The Director General of Somaliland Ministry of Education and Higher Studies, Mohamed Hassan Ibrahim, addressed the attendees with the significance of improving Somaliland's educational standard and told the media that the policy of Somaliland Ministry of Education toward this issue is to work together to achieve better improvements. Chama Abduale, who spoke on behalf of the non-governmental organizations, appreciated this discussion and thanked Somaliland Ministry of Education for their effort.
You're still tuned to the English news program on Somaliland National Television, the only Somali-speaking channel with an English news program. And now for the international headlines in detail. Talks between Iran and the world's great powers on the future of Tehran's nuclear program have gone into an extra day in Geneva. Mohammed Salim has this report.
John Kerry, U.S. Secretary of State, has arrived in Geneva, where he joins top-level diplomats from 6 other foreign nations for talks aimed at reaching a nuclear deal with Iran. Saturday's meeting will be the second time in 2 weeks involving Kerry and other Syrian emissaries in the Swiss city after intensive talks failed there shortly after midnight on November 10. Kerry decided to go back for another try in light of the progress being made, and with the hope that an agreement will be reached. Maria Harf, State Department spokesperson, said on Friday. He will be joined again by his French, British and German counterparts, respectively Laurent Fabius, William Hague and Gaudie Westerwelle, plus Russia's Sergei Lavrov, who arrived in Geneva on Friday. Chinese Wang Yi had missed the previous gathering but will be present in Geneva on Saturday. The talks have reached their final moment, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Hong Li said, as Wang left Beijing early on Saturday morning. Reports from Washington, D.C. said Kerry's appearance did not necessarily mean the talks were close to a resolution. This is not happening because a deal is imminent, but because it might be useful for the U.S. Secretary of State to be in the room with the other top diplomats working out these thorny issues, she said. Hassan Rouhani's election in June as the president of Iran has created big hopes that the deadlock over the country's nuclear work can be resolved after a decade of failed diplomatic initiatives and rising tensions. The risks posed by failure are high: further nuclear expansion by Iran, more painful sanctions, and the possibility of Israeli and even U.S. military action. Iran says its nuclear program is peaceful, but money in the international community suspects it is aimed at developing nuclear weapons. The powers want Iran to stop spending for 6 months initially some of its many thousand centrifuges enriching uranium to level close to weapons grade. They also want Iran to stop construction work at Arak and to grant the International Atomic Energy Agency more intrusive inspection rights. In return, they are offering Iran minor and reversible relief from painful sanctions, including access to several billion dollars in oil revenues and easing some trade restrictions. This first-phase deal will build trust and ease tensions while negotiators push on for a final accord that end this once and for all fears that Iran will get an atomic bomb. A major sticking point, however, has been Iran's demand as expressed by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, this week for recognition of its right to enrich uranium.
UN issues new warning as it raises appeal for money to cope with typhoon havoc to $348 million and revises death toll to 5,235. Mohammed Salim has more.
The UN says 1.5 million children are at risk of malnutrition in typhoon-ravaged areas of the Philippines as it calls for great efforts to provide food and water. A UN appeal to cope with Typhoon Haiyan's devastation has also been revised from 301 million to 348 million as the extent of the storm disaster becomes clearer. Valeria Amos, UN humanitarian chief, said the death toll had risen to 5,235, with 1,613 missing, and would rise higher as the spotlight turns away from the November 8 super typhoon. I'm very concerned that some 1.5 million children are at risk of acute malnutrition and close to 800,000 pregnant and nursing mothers need nutritional help, Amos said on Friday at the UN headquarters in New York City after a trip to Philippines. Amos said huge numbers of people are still exposed to bad weather in the 9 provinces devastated by Haiyan. An estimated 4 million people have been left homeless. A huge international relief operation was launched after the storm, but Amos said much more needs to be done. Food, clean water, and shelter remain the top priorities. The death toll has mounted as rescuers reach remote islands and areas hit by fierce winds and huge waves in one of the biggest storms ever recorded. Ahmed said Haiyan had also left a major communication blackout. People have little or no access to basic information through mobile phones, internet and radio, TV or newspapers. The World Bank on Friday added $480 million in emergency aid to the Philippines, taking its support to nearly $1 billion. The Asian Development Bank has also offered $500 million concessionary loans.
This is the end of our news program. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this is Yvonne Mahmood. Assalamu alaikum.